Going to a football going to football game going to a football game in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing endurance test in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against the Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must stick in all food from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlet will be shut. So no one say burgers or cartons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium, 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground overflowed with supporters wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a tempting alternative. But when I suggest to a steward that might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you're going to, she said. That was her coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the Dutch book bag A4 side that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to a rear Scot, my friend Alastair, who is from Edinburgh, also now 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the advice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a fan in the loudest tartan suit I ever seen, including a tiny tartan clutch bag. I pose for a photo with him and he tells me I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar prevent for tournament Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. The pub outside the ground were full with support wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into football wars. Nation football team has involved the nation, but that is not a straightforward test. Identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland is independent. For England, it is race. The English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism. But each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel, defended the protesters, not expressing racism but condemning the Marxists of Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, a Britain's Home Secretary, accused the player of indulging in gesture in politics. Players from the England team whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, now being asked to react home security. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to an enormous defeat when it took Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meals for poor families. Manchester United and England forward mobilized 1 million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford preparation for Euro 2020 defended Manchester United and England forward mobilized 1 million signatures behind the petition, including a Zoom call with Barack Obama, while plenty of tourists are prepared but in Rashford, none are willing to take him in public. The culture wars of football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They were also booed by the crowd. Doubtless Russians also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for 2020, defended fans who were visiting team that take the knee, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warning about the elderly dangerous Europe being flooded by Muslims. Even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable with footballers taking the knee. Even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about taking the knee. Even some moderate conservatives are comfortable about taking the knee. Laments to me, one prominent thinker in laments to me that football is a political space. But now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memory of the Euro 96, when England played their games at Wembley and the whole country they seemed to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium joined in the packed the stadium joined in singing of three lions. Football's coming home now. The national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. I can see what it means. 그러면 엄마 다시 해볼까? This year's tournament being flooded by mistake. One point for the game brings up the football, but another. Can see why this year's tournament when England forward. One point for the game brings up that football is one political space, but now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament never really brings back memories of Euro 96. England also play their games at Wembley, and the whole country they seem to get behind the team in a complicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium joined in the singing of the Lions. Football's coming up. Now those stadiums are largely empty, and some of the home crowds are actually bring the players. By somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea the team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of soldier hooligans, far-right supporters, whose trademark chant is "No surrender to RA." At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that hadn't particularly enjoyed being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s were also where I saw the most overrated film that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark Bibles and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. So if the current national side felt they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into a political space. But now, into space. Particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. For year 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independent referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, it feels pretty black and lonely up in the stands. I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed schools stop lessons to allow the kids to watch the game against such class. As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournaments. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup of 1974 and 1978. But British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem played for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was God Save the Queen, although YouTube recording did not show the Scottish player looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting out Love Scotland with the stirring word that we can still rise now and be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 9,000 people inside Hampton. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big fan. 맞아. 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty bland and lonely up in the stands. Even if the Charlton army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions, they built up Love Scotland loud enough to drown out the conversation. The team started the game with all the expected passion and steam forward. Their captain, David Robertson, can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the tech score and the air sucked out of the stadium. At halftime, which I choose spending the toilet next to the hand dryer, the warmest spot in Hampton, there's hopeful chatter around the room that Scotland might be able to turn this around. Early in the second half. 혜민이 말?
떡이 생긴다고 혜민이 말 듣고 너 브랜드 갔더니
문 닫았어?
아직 안 열었어. 아직 안. 그래서 이거 배울 때 내일 갔더니 주방생제 1+1이었더라고.
아 그래 잘했어. At halftime, we checked true span the tolling next to the hand dryer. The warmest spot in hand, there's a hopeful chatter around the unit. The scholar might be able to understand, but early in the second half, for football history made by the text. The teams on the board gets the ball on the by the text. Patrick Schiff, the team center forward, gets the ball on the halfway line and floats the ball over the Scottish goalkeeper into the net. It is one of the most brilliant goals any of us will ever witness. The crowd is now almost totally silent, apart from a tiny group of cheering texts on the other side of the stadium, and a group of children near me will continue happily shouting for Scotland, while the other around them are shouting in horror. After the match, Alastair reminds me that Scottish fans are used to severe disappointment, making the national football team a symbol of the nation's suffering. Practice word. Oh, I'm recording. Practice word.
이제 시끄럽게 해도 돼.
Yes. Practice word. Practice word. Rather than scoring one goals and celebrating the game. But what if your goalkeeper blunders through a mistake and tangled up in the net? Your training already has delivered humble setback for 2 football match leaders. Urban gave permission for capacity class to attend Hungary's open games in Budapest against Portugal only to see the national side lose 2-0. The Czech Erdogan, prison of Turkey, traveled to Azerbaijan and stayed in a place of honor next to Azer prison, from where he was able to see Turkey go down to 2-0 victory against Belgium. 맛있어. Against Wales. The England team also have had it disappointed their most ardent fans. The side often portrayed as the embodiment of what we like to believe are national characteristics. First, calmness under pressure. In fact, as a recent piece by Donald Lee in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely better at losing a tournament. The numbers indicate that they might be backward, and that all have seen the French and Italians are much better at holding their own when they take lead. If England is keeping the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. But once the right may find itself on the wrong end of the duration of your training, a defending fan who didn't think that takes the same anger suggests you want that. In fact, as a recent piece by Donald in The Guardian pointed out, England are uniquely better. All has the French and Italians are much better at holding their own when they take a lead. If first out case England can somehow break the cycle and turn England to winning outfit, he will advertently provide a huge boost to Johnson government that is desperate but involved the success of Brexit.
아빠, 우리 그림 그리자 같이.
그러자.
The Southgate has absolutely but unmistakably positioned himself to the left of the government, taking the knee. He leads a multiracial team and is open to defend their right to make statement on the subject of the football. It has become accepted wisdom in Britain that culture wars always work better for the right than the left. But football may be an exception. All poll taken across Europe before in 2020 showed 54% of English football fans supported taking the knee, with 39% of polls. If the England keep winning, the number in favor may rise, along with the team's popularity. But once the right may find itself on the wrong end of a culture war for the duration of Euro 2020, I would care much less about who wins the culture war than the tournament. For Scotland, Euro 2020 began with a big flooding debate. By the time this article appeared, we don't know whether they have withdrawn their fortunes at the home without the enemy. The England team supported their fans almost as reliably as the
아,
Scottish.
허리가
Just slightly later today. On the other hand, this is a weird phenomenon. It's taking place in the middle of pandemic. The stadiums are quarter full and England are playing half Disney. I am allowing myself to for the weirdest outcome of the lot. On England
이런
victory.
것도 있었네.